Hi, once again, it's Stephen here from Life in a Home. Thank you for switching on and looking in once again. Well, today I want to speak about dementia. And you may wonder why I want to tackle such a subject. Well, it's because of family history. There has been a significant amount of dementia in my mother's side of the family, but also I've spent some time in social care and saw the effects of it on both the person, the individual who suffers the dementia, but also the family members and how it affects them. Within my own family, if I go back historically, my grandma had, I believe, a number of brothers. I think some say it was about 12 brothers. And of those brothers, 2 or 3 of them actually did develop dementia in later life. Bearing in mind that these people would have been born in the early 1900s. My grandma herself was to go on to develop it probably in her late 60s, early 70s, and had the condition for probably about 10 years. And it presented us with some challenges and her with some difficult times as well, of course. A lot of people are fearful of dementia, and that's right, because let's face it, nobody wants that condition or any other health condition if they can help it. And so that's understandable. But what I would say about dementia is for the person themselves, once they actually get the full-blown effects of dementia, their awareness of the situation becomes very much reduced. Certainly there's a period when dementia is developing and you're beginning to forget things and do things that you would normally do. That can be a very difficult time for the person involved, but also for the family members who see the deterioration. So as far as kind of a fear is concerned, yes, it certainly is something that you don't want, and you want to do all you can to put off. It's not inevitable, of course, and there are things that you can do which help in its prevention. But for those who observe things from the other side, the people, your friends, your family, and your loved ones who see such a deterioration, it can be very hard. I've always wondered whether there is a link between an hereditary aspect to dementia, or whether, as the experts say, that really isn't the case, and it's not so much driven by hereditary things. But in my instance, the concern is that I'm told I'm more like my mother's side of the family, and that is the side that seems to be susceptible to the condition. So I'm hoping that things I'm trying to do will help prevent it. Another aspect of dementia is that it's seen as a condition which affects the elderly, and I think that, of course, is true. The majority of people with dementia are elderly, and they're the ones it commonly affects. But it's not always the case. Some people do get early onset dementia, and certainly in my working life, I encountered people in their 40s who had been affected quite heavily by dementia and were in the later periods of decline from it. So what can you do about it? Well, first of all, let's look at what forms of dementia there are. Let's look at that. For this, I'm I'm using the Alzheimer's Society information, which is very good. The website I'll link in the notes of the video for you to look at. And there's also other dementia websites, Dementia UK, and other organisations that can help. And those, I'll try and link those as well in the video description later. But there are a few principal causes, of course, Alzheimer's being the first one. Then you have vascular dementia. You can also have alcohol related brain damage, which brings on dementia. Something called frontotemporal dementia, which affects your language and words, and sometimes that can affect people who are a bit younger. And then, of course, there is young onset dementia. So, as I said, how do you deal with dementia? Well, looking at what are the Alzheimer's Society, the first thing they urge you to do is to look after yourself, and that is obviously key. But some of the things they point to are that you should firstly reduce your consumption of alcohol. That's a contributing factor. That you should give up smoking if that's something you do. But then on the more practical things, the things that probably affect more people, you can stay mentally alert, mentally well, and socially alive. So do things like crosswords, do things that stimulate you, read, study, do things that think, go to groups, play cards, play games, but also then socialize with others. Don't put yourself into some sort of isolated bubble where you don't get stimulation, and you can become depressed, because depression is also one of the causes or a contributing factor to this as well. So trying to keep your mental health in good state is another serious consideration to make. And if you feel that your mental health is dipping, it's important that you seek help at an early stage through your doctor or whatever services you've got available to help you and make your mental health more positive and put you in a happier frame of mind. Other things that contribute to it are actually physical conditions. Things like high cholesterol, diabetes, high blood pressure, and obesity. All those things can contribute to dementia, especially things like the vascular dementia in relation to the blood pressure and cholesterol levels. Take care of those, get them checked out regularly, and if they are high or you need help in reducing them, seek that from your GP and keep those under control. Very important. Another thing that's often overlooked is that you should look after your eyesight and your hearing. It's been discovered that sometimes those kind of things can add to dementia and make you give you a higher risk. They need regular checks and treatment if necessary. Glasses regularly placed. Hearing aids if your hearing is not working or functioning properly. Those kind of things you need to seek specialist help for. If you are still of working age or active, you also need to protect your head health. Hard to say that, head health. But don't forget to wear helmets and protective things on your head. Bumps and things to the head are a large contributing factor to dementia as well. So if you're out cycling, wear a helmet. If you work on a building site, wear a helmet. If you go horse riding, make sure you wear that helmet. Play cricket, wear your helmet. All those kind of things. You need to be looking after your head and making sure that any shocks or bumps to it minimalised by the counteracting it by wearing protective headgear. Sometimes also another factor that gets disregarded is that environmental factors can add to the condition. And there are some specific kinds of pollution, evidently, that can make that can affect your brain and contribute to dementia. So be careful with the environment. I'm not going to suggest which things you should avoid. I'm not that knowledgeable, but please look it up and see why that is a factor and what you can do about it. Beyond that, I don't think there's much else you can do. You obviously, I didn't cover diet. That's an important aspect. You need to make sure that your diet is full of omega-3 and that you eat oily fish and things like that. A Mediterranean diet, they suggest, is quite helpful, and that's something that I'm looking into myself at the moment and trying to make sure I get enough fish oils, particularly, and olive oil and things like that, which are all good things to eat and consume, and all help protect your brain power, for want of a better expression. I don't think in retirement we should sit around fretting as to whether we're going to get dementia. Going back to my own life experience, my grandma, um, when she was prior to her dementia, when she saw it in other people, she always used to make us laugh by saying, if I get like that, put a pillow over my head. And and at the time she meant it, but obviously that was not something any of us were going to do. Um, and I think she probably said it jovially as well. But she had concerns, and I think we can live life worrying about what's going to happen and what effect it'll have on us, but also on our loved ones who will be left with the caring responsibilities, which are never easy. But all we can practically do is look after ourselves in some of the ways I've suggested in this video, and you'll do your own research, I'm sure, and find out other ways and things that are applicable to your life. These are general, not specific, obviously. So please take care of yourselves. Don't get fearful, but also prepare for any eventuality. Another thing you can do is put in place power of attorneys for your health and your financial things. Make sure you've written a will which is well laid out, explicit, and people will fully understand that you're not full mental capacity when you wrote it, and that you knew what you were saying. All these things are very important, and I've seen from experience sometimes how people can dispute that things were written down like wills, and also power of attorneys when people had mental capacity. So you need to be careful in clarifying that you do have that, and use proper qualified people who will know the ins and outs of such things. So thank you for listening. I hope this has helped, and please add in the comments if you have anything, your concerns or your experiences, perhaps, if you want to share them, and I'll try and answer any queries you have. But also, don't forget, there are organisations you can consult, and I'll place those in the description. And if you're outside the UK, I'm sure wherever you are, you'll have your own organisations. But whatever and wherever you are, the information these organisations provide will be relevant anyway to your situation, although the services that you can reach as a result of that may be slightly different. So on that note, I thank you for listening. So cheerio for now.